Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Farming Simulator 22 as we continue our tribute run here on Elmcreek. And if you look at my mini-map, you can see that something looks a little different. Well, today, as of the time that I'm recording this, they released the free DLC for precision farming. If you remember anything about Farming Simulator 19, when they released the Swiss map with that one, they released a previous version of precision farming, but my understanding is they've kind of bumped that up a bit with this version, and it's still a lot of the same stuff, but they've added a few things to it. So obviously one of those things being that we can actually see stuff on the minimap now. When we go fertilize, we can see the fertilizer on the minimap, which is something that should have been in the base game anyway. But precision farming is this right here. There's a lot of different elements to precision farming. There's things like soil types. You're going to have to adjust what you're doing based off the soil type. Some of the machinery will either seed faster or slower, things like that based on soil type and things of that nature. We can even see the environmental details here about an actual environmental score that we can get for our farm. I'll get back to that here in just a second, but the environmental score is very, very important if you want to play with the precision. I just realized my other light's not on. Haha, looks a little better. There we go. The score is very important, though. We'll get back to that here in just a moment. There's things like pH, different, and we can't see anything right now because I haven't done any actual soil sampling. That is something that's very important for us to do. We want to do some soil sampling throughout all of our fields, and we'll definitely be doing that here shortly, and we'll get to that as well. But yeah, pH, that's another thing that as you do the different fertilizations, things like that, the pH will change how quickly or how much fertilizer you put down. Nitrogen, actually the nitrogen might be the fertilizer. I forget which one's which. I'm going to be honest. I suddenly having a brain thingy about which one's which. But anyway, and then we also have the yields. Based on everything we did, we get different yields as well because of, and this actually, I'll tell you this right now, kind of spoiler alert. The yields most likely that we're seeing the patterns here most likely fall into the lines of probably the soil types or something like that, or one of these types of information that we just don't know about. But that's basically what those are going to follow. You're going to get different yields based off different things, but you have to adjust your stuff to be more precise with the type of soil. There's a lot to it. Another thing is that weeding. We don't want to weed with a manual weeder anymore. You want to weed with a sprayer. A sprayer is 100% how you want to weed with precision farming. And there's a specific sprayer that we have, just happens to be John Deere, which is perfect for our farm, that we want to get because it has cameras over the spray nozzles and a computer. And this is real. I'm assuming that my understanding is this is all based off real stuff that actually exists. It has a camera that can identify the difference between a crop and a weed, and it only sprays the weeds in the spots that have weeds. So you save yourself a whole lot of herbicide, and you're not just spraying herbicide all over the place, and it's better for the environment, better for everything. So that's a cool feature as well. We're definitely going to be picking up that sprayer when we get a chance here in just a minute. But at the end of the day, based on all the different things that you do, it will lower or raise or lower your yield based on how precise you were able to be. And if you do all these other things, your environmental score will go up. If you get it up to 100, you get, I think it's we'll come down here. There's actually a new help menu. Where is it? Is it here? Probably down here. There's a new help section for precision farming. There it is. So, as I said, we talked about the soil types. We talked about soil sampling. We want to do that. We got the pH value. This is going to change based on the type of soil that's there. This is the liming one. pH is lime. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. So pH, we want to basically lime based on certain pH levels. The nitrogen is where the fertilizer or manure can come into play, and that's going to change. And if you have a smart fertilizer device, it's going to be able to raise or lower how much fertilizer it's putting down based off of the nitrogen that it knows is on there. We got the yield map. Obviously, we talked about that. Interestingly enough, the yields that I'm seeing right here kind of match what we were seeing on our field just now. So that seems pretty accurate. We got variable seed rates. We're going to have to seed more or less depending on the type of crop as well as the type of soil that we're going to be putting that crop into. So that comes into play. A lot of this it sounds confusing and it sounds like a lot, right? There's a lot to it. Vast majority of it is just controlled by computers and automatic machinery and things like that. The machinery does the bulk of the work for us. We have the mineral nitrogen sensor. We got the crop sensor for nitrogen fertilization, things like that. So we're going to be able to have sensors out there. And 2 sensors are available. One is active and one is passive. The active sensor is mounted in front of the tractor, and it does the sensing for us, and then it detects for our sprayer on the back. Kind of cool. The sensors can only be used when the crop has enough green leaves for the sensor to detect differences. For cereals, the best time to use a sensor is the mineral fertilization application in spring. Interesting. So we're definitely have to get into some of this and learn some of these different features. But again, once we get the right equipment, it's very much all automatic at that point. Here's where the environmental score comes into play. If we do all these things correctly, then we get our score on a scale of 0 to a 100. And if we get a maximum score, we actually increase the price that we get for our crop by 15%, which is a pretty big deal. Obviously, lower scores will potentially either just zero that out and just give us the exact value of the crop, or potentially a penalty if we are on the low end. So I would definitely recommend do not download the precision farming if you don't want to do precision farming, because you will affect your crop prices if you just have it installed but aren't actually doing anything with it. So definitely only grab it if you actually want it, but I think it's going to be kind of fun to play with, and I definitely love the mini-map things as well. It does make things a little bit more realistic overall, which typically realism also means more challenging, and we were already in a little bit of a challenge already, to be fair. But if we can do all this right and get an extra 15%, that actually kind of makes the game a little bit easier, doesn't it? Maybe not. One thing I did go ahead and do, and you will see that, oh, I should probably go unload you. You will see that in the top right-hand corner. If you look at the very last video that you guys saw, I was around $50,000. Now I'm around $100,000. What happened? Well, the story I'm going to tell you is that I got a government subsidy for switching over to precision farming. I'm going to be more environmentally friendly. I'm going to have, just overall better, crop efficiency. And the government decided to subsidize my farm and give me $50,000 to help kind of pay for switching over some of the machinery, getting some of the stuff hooked up, things like that. If you really want to know what happened, I just went into the game files and edited it and had $50,000. But that's my story, and I feel like it's a realistic story and here's why. We have crop already out here. I didn't want to just harvest all this crop and kind of get everything done and then turn on precision farming. I wanted to go ahead and get into it and have it in the game and already be using it right now. And so for that reason, we are going to take a little bit of a hit on the crop we have out here, most likely because it wasn't fully precision farming prepped. And so to make up for some of that hit that we're going to take, I decided to add a little bit of money in there. 50,000 seemed like a good roundabout number. And there you go. That's my story. And we'll see if that was, hopefully you guys understand. And I think it's a fair move just to kind of keep things moving along. Obviously, if I was starting a brand new game, I would have just already had all the precision farming stuff in mind and I'd just be doing things from the get-go. But I didn't want to wait and I didn't want to restart, obviously. So I figured this was the best of both worlds. Just give a little bit of a government subsidy and carry on with what we're doing. So let's go drop this stuff off. We definitely are going to get a lot less soybeans, I believe, from even with that extra couple stripes of soybeans on our cotton farm, just because we're just not getting full yields, and that's okay. That extra $50,000 will make up for that. But we do need to get some new equipment, and that's part of the reason why I want to do that as well. We need to get the John Deere sprayer, and we need to get the whatever the other devices that we would need to just make things function better. There was a new GPS building that you can get for just putting somewhere on the map. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific. It just has to be somewhere on the map. And it's just a little building with a little antenna on top that effectively serves the purpose of better managing the GPS of your tractors. And the way that works in game, and in actuality, is that it just makes your workers better. They actually move, I think they said up to like 10 or 11% faster, and they're just more efficient with their movement. So there's less cost to pay them. They're using less fuel, all that kind of stuff. It just makes your workers smarter by putting this little building out there. So we definitely want to get that out there at some point. Probably pretty quickly, actually. I should have already done that. But I wanted to kind of start the video and start talking through some stuff before I actually jumped on that. Let's get this turned back over there. In fact, once we get back over there, I will actually go ahead and grab that building and find a place to put it. It may not help us with the soybean harvest, but it'll help us with the the cotton harvest next month. My understanding is that will also help with just even fields that aren't yours. It's just literally anywhere on the map the workers are doing something automated, they will be more efficient with that building installed. We also need to grab the well, I'm not sure if you grab a, I think it's a machine. If I remember right, in 19 it was like a little device that you grab that you go out and do your soil sampling with. I think you have to hook it up to your tractor and you just go around to different spots in your fields and soil sample them to get those values. I assume it's basically the same in this run, but we'll see here in a moment. All right, our guy's almost done with the soybeans. All right, while you're doing that, let's go over here and check to see. I'm assuming the building thing is under here somewhere. Probably under... I doubt it's under decorations. What would it be under? Production, maybe? No, buildings? Probably just under buildings. Probably tools. The weather station, which at some point would be kind of nice to have set up, to be perfectly honest. I also want the vehicle workshop at some point. Okay, so it's not that. It's not going to be farmhouses. Although I'm glad that they have this little dinky farmhouse in here now. That is very cool. Not all of us can live in a, a big old two-story thing. It's not going to be containers. That would make no sense. It's not going to be sheds, right? Oh, it is. I thought there was like a little device as well. Sorry, I'm allergic to all this dust coming up from the soybeans. I thought there was one other thing. It's probably here and I'm just blind as a bat and can't see it. What are the weighing stations used for? What if you guys let me know what those are used for within the context of the game? Yeah, I don't see it. I'm assuming... I mean, surely it's not under decoration, right? Oh, those are just buildings, right? Yeah. Yeah, they're just generators stuff. Okay, it's got to be that first thing. I thought there was a small one, like a little antenna that's just off on its own, but I guess it's just these two things, which is fine. These are fine. It's a little bit more expensive than I was hoping, but we're gonna go ahead and find a place to stick this. If I can zip along over here, we're gonna probably put it over here by these other buildings. Honestly, I might just line it up with this thing right here. Rotate item. Because we'll have the door coming in towards our backyard. I'm going to try and use the mouse. It's a little bit more precise for this type of thing. I mean, that looks about as good as it's going to get. So we'll go with that. So there's a little bit of our money spent already. Got that building down. Looks all right. I mean, it's a little kind of awkward colored compared to everything else, but it'll get the job done. And it's not any further out than this building. So as far as, you know, messing with this field, it should have no difference there. What else can we put on here? We want to grab the sprayer, the new sprayer. I think we're going to keep the old sprayer though, right? Because we need that new device. Which is probably under miscellaneous. Yes. So here's the scout. Here's the precision farming thing. And I suppose we only need to lease it, right? Like there's no reason for us to have this more often than just the one time to go around to all our fields. Which I probably will wait till next month once I harvest the cotton and just do all of our fields at once. And that's actually probably a good idea. So this one is to help with applying the fertilizer. Does this... So we can't use our little front attachment with our fertilizer if we use this thing then, huh? Wait, what is the difference here? Well, that's actually got to wait. It's kind of cool. Okay, so there's a couple different weights that we can grab, which probably pretty smart actually. I mean, I wish this thing had like an extra attachment to grab that front tank as well. Or if one of these things had a front tank, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be ideal, unless we can't add that to this thing, can we? That would be really cool. No, that would be very, very cool if we could add it to that. We probably just need to, I mean, we could always switch to one of these trailing ones. I mean, I could use this one for both, obviously. And that may just be what I do. I just may sell what I've got, use this for both. And that's actually probably ultimately the best thing. We definitely want See and Spray turned on. Look how much it adds to it. Oh my. That is a lot of money to add the See and Spray. Okay. I don't know if we're going to have money for all this, even with the extra money I put in there. Because these things are only going to sell for about $6,000. I mean, I'll be able to repair them up a little bit, but wow. Okay. Well, I should have put in $100,000 stipend. It's okay. We're going to be fine. All right. So that's all of the soybeans. We go get this dropped off. We can actually return that harvester. Actually, I'm going to hold on to the harvester for just a minute, just in case. I need to check to see if there's any contracts available. I also need to talk about the contracts here in just a second. If you've seen any of my other series, you will know that I already have I have a new mod. I've been installing lots of mods, and I think this hopefully will be one of the last ones that I install. This one just seemed like an overall good idea, but the mod I installed is called Better Contracts, and primarily it has no gameplay effect. At least primarily the way I was planning on using it, and that is just that it just does a bunch of math and tells you approximately how much money you're going to make doing a contract. It kind of estimates about how long it'll take to do it, how much it's going to cost, and then it gives you a cost per hour, things like that. So that way you can just kind of pick up contracts that, you know, are overall worth it. You know, if you don't want to pick up an hour and a half long contract, well, then just go pick up that 20-minute contract, and you can see which one's like more worth it overall, things like that, and cost per hour, or, you know, how much you get per hour, things like that. So that's primarily why I grabbed it. It does have a side effect of allowing you to it has a side effect of allowing you to take more than 3 contracts. I may or may not take advantage of that. I don't think I'm just gonna be taking like 100 contracts. That's just silly. I might take like 4 or something. Like I might take a couple on those times when I'm wanting to use the same piece of equipment for multiple contracts. I might go a little bit over the 3. I don't expect to go over too far crazy over that. So that's about the only gameplay change that I could really say that there is. And that's more of a quality of life thing anyway. Because otherwise we just sit there and wait and turn a contract in and grab the next one. It's effectively the same thing. This just saves me from that extra step. Or kind of the order there. So that's the extra mod that I have. So we'll see that come into play if we start to pick up contracts. In fact, we're probably going to look here in just a moment to see if there are any harvesting contracts worth our time. I do need to go grab that sprayer. We'll get that turned in. I mean, we technically don't need the John Deere sprayer right this second. We actually won't need it until... I'm actually not sure when we'll need it, come to think of it. now that I read the part about checking the fertilizer quality, I assume you still want to do your first round of fertilization with the crop? And then do your second round once you can actually see the leaves? Is that how that would work? We're going to learn a little bit together. Let's drop that there. Let's grab our sprayer. I guess if I'm never going to use the front attachment for my sprayer again, what I could do is sell my weight as well and just grab one of the ones that has a weight attached to it and just leave it on the tractor all the time. I mean, it would functionally work. It'd be a little... I mean, I guess it would work. It's probably the smart thing. That way I just never have to take it off. Now, here's the problem, though. I'm going to need to change the tires on my tractor pretty regularly, because if we're not going to fertilize the second round or whatever round it is until we can see leaves, then we will be able to destroy the crops if we're not careful. So I'm going to need narrow tires on my tractor. Hmm. All this is adding up to more and more money, isn't it? How are we looking on overall just kind of production and stuff? Where are we looking here? Still got a lot of cotton. Clothes are still coming out. So that's so far so good. I mean, I could lease that John Deere sprayer, but kind of at this point, I just want to have it all ready to roll. Do I need to edit any like the seeders and things like that? I wonder. All right, let's get this sold off. Repairs. I'm really not going to be able to be worth that much, unfortunately, but that's okay. And then repair, repaint, sell. Obviously, we're going to keep the John Deere tractor. We probably should repair this while we're here. Though I don't know if we can afford to repair this while we're here, come to think of it. Oh, we got to get it done. Look how much, $46,000 just to do the paint job. We're not going to be touching the paint right now, but that is crazy. This may mean we can't get the sprayer yet. Then we're going to go narrow tires because we're probably going to be using that a lot. Yeah, it's 92,000 bucks. Is it only the Trailbugs that does narrows? It does. So we need some more money. We're going to have to wait for this thing. Okay, fair enough. Now, we only technically need that for spraying the weeds. We could get a different sprayer for fertilizer. But at this point in time, I don't know that we can afford two different sprayers. Well, I think I'm going to have to figure out a way to do some contracts, probably offline and stuff, just to get us some little... I did not mean to turn my lights on. To get us some more money. Speaking of contracts, okay, let's go look at the contracts while I'm driving along here and probably going to crash into something. So here's how the contracts look, just like normal. Like, that's the same as normal, right? But if I come over here and I hit this little details on button, we can now see the different details. In fact, let me just stop my tractor so I don't like die here. Crash into something. All right, so we see the different details here now, right? You can see like what type of crops on there. You can see, you know, the different widths and heights, estimated time to actually do a contract. It's estimated. It's the best guess, basically. But you're probably more accurate. You're going to be closer to a 5-minute time for something like this than you are to an hour, for example. So this one down here that says an hour and 11 minutes. Okay, maybe it takes longer, maybe it takes less, whatever. It's going to be closer to that time, and this one's going to be closer to that 5 minutes time. So that's how I read it. It's not going to be 100% exactly precise, most likely, but it's going to be pretty close. It actually tells us how much we can keep. Although when I was doing this the other day, this wasn't 100% accurate. Although I think I just saw a update to this mod that's supposed to help improve this to make it a little bit more accurate, which you'll see. And then the overall just profit. You've got the contract money here, and then how much we would get with selling the crops here. And then we've got the profit per minute. So for example, right now this one says $748 per minute. If I were to come over here and sort this by profit per minute, we can see that these baling contracts, which is not a surprise to me at all, I know that the baling contracts are really good, are some of the best contracts you can take from a profit per minute standpoint. This cultivating contract is really good as well, though. It's actually a really good cultivator. So would not be a bad idea to grab, you know, maybe the 10 cultivator and go do 10 and 13 real quick. It would take us about 40 minutes or so to do that. We could do that while we're harvesting the cotton next month, if it's still available. And then kind of go from there. I'm probably not going to pick up one of the baling contracts, although they are very good. The harvesting contracts, you know, kind of come in here. You can see that we can keep some of the crop from those as well. Most of these harvesting contracts, I think, are corn or sugar beets, so they don't really fit our... Oh, there's a soybean one. Okay. I might go do that one. Corn. I mean, I can resort these obviously by mission type just to see all the harvesting ones together. But yeah, that soybeans one is pretty good. I like this sorting personally. We can also clear out all the contracts. It's another way to clear them all out, get new contracts, stuff like that. I'm probably not going to push those buttons too much. I'm okay with kind of the default contracts that come up. but it's nice to have those buttons if we so choose. I think we need to take these harvesting contracts for the soybeans. Where did it go? It's not a huge field, but we already have the harvester. Plus we get to keep, you know, about 1,000 liters, which, you know, that's something. It's about 1,400 bucks. So it's going to add a little bit more to this. We need more money, right? And while we're doing this one, we can do some of the other ones. So I'm going to accept the contract, but not actually borrow equipment because we've already got the equipment. But while we're doing that one, we might as well. It's going to take about the same amount of time. Well, one of these fields will take about the same amount of time. Could always borrow from both of these and then do the do other cultivatings. Kind of goes into that world of taking more. That's actually probably a good move, though. Let's just borrow from both of these. I'm actually going to move that one out of the way first. I'm going to go ahead and have you do the field that you're supposed to work on, and then we'll have the other one start doing some other fields. I think that will be the plan. So field 10 up here. This is the awkwardly shaped field, but hey, our workers are going to work better now that we have the GPS thing on. Okay, we're going to come back in here. I'm going to grab the other contract. So I'm going to grab 32, borrow items for this one as well. And then we're just going to grab one cultivating contract down here. That's just wherever, 53. Actually, that other guy could take 11 once we get done with 10, to be honest. I mean, some of these cultivators are not that much, obviously, but we might as well knock them out with this big old giant cultivator that we've got while we have it. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to take 4 contracts this time. Fine. I think I'm okay with that. You know, 1 extra contract just so I can use some extra equipment, double it up. $53 is right over by us. I'm just going to get you head in that direction as well. Come down here, my friend. That way we can get the harvester over to field 58, right? Where is 58? Oh, 59, way over there. I don't know if we can get there without the trailer attachment. We are going to try. Because I know I can get to my fields with that. That's why I didn't bother getting it. But this might be a little tougher. Oh, knocked over her side. All right, I'm going to get this guy driven over there. I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in there. When we come back, we'll get some more of these contracts done because we need the money to get the sprayer, and we'll go from there. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.